Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to just give our quick thoughts and a quick little overview of what's going to be going on tomorrow. There is a huge crypto summit out in DC, specifically dropping the bombshell of the crypto reserve. So we're going to talk about kind of what we know, what's going on, what to potentially expect, not only in terms of what may get released there, but potentially price action, like what may be happening with the markets, potentially up, down. We'll talk about it. We'll give our thoughts. We'll give our thoughts as a whole on the crypto reserve. Do have kind of a hot take. We'll talk about it. So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get right to this thing. So huge summit in DC starting tomorrow, March 7th. A lot of big wigs. Pretty much all the big wigs in the crypto world, specifically in the US, will be in attendance for this thing. So it is a pretty big deal. We're expecting potentially a big announcement. Let's look at some of the people that are going to be attending. Ripple CEO. Let's go down the list. The Winklevi, Kraken CEO, Saylor's going to be there. Brian Armstrong, which is Coinbase CEO, is going to be there. Sergey Nazarov, which is the co-founder of Chainlink, will be there. And the list kind of goes on and on and on. I'm sure more people will be confirmed. One big standout that did not get an invite, was kind of making the news rounds, was Charles Hoskinson of ADA of Cardano. Officially didn't get an invite, at least yet. Kind of a weird one just because of what did get announced with that reserve, right? So big deal happening tomorrow. So far, the only thing that has kind of leaked is that we will get more details regarding this. Donald Trump, back on the 2nd, did announce a U.S. crypto reserve, so not just a Bitcoin reserve, a U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Sol, and ADA. I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. Not too long after, he did clarify also, because I think it was just an assumption, but he wanted to clarify they're adding Bitcoin and Ethereum to this as well. Okay, so kind of a big deal and kind of just confirmed quite a few things, right? This was kind of on the rumor mill. Initially, it was just Bitcoin. Then there's potentially others. Now there is confirmation here that it is definitely going to have other altcoins. Okay, namely, so far being announced doesn't mean it's limited to that, but XRP, Sol, ADA, and Ethereum. Okay, could it be more? Could it be less? There's predictions that there may be more, especially because of who's going to be in attendance at this summit. So that's part of the reason that right after this tweet, there was a pretty significant pump on all these projects. Okay, so kind of a hot take. My personal beef with this, not a fan of this, especially me being a shitcoin extraordinaire essentially. Not a fan, especially considering, you guys know my stance on Solana. You would think that I'd be all about this. No, right? Reason being, if the US is going to have a reserve, in my opinion, should be Bitcoin only. That is the only one that could potentially be a hedge against inflation. It is essentially digital gold. It is the only one that over time, the scarcity factor, right? And this is one that we have seen over and over again, does have that potential and does have that long-term potential. I'm not too confident about any of these other altcoins being here for that long of a period of time. Okay. On top of that, we know what typically happens in the bear market if the bear market returns, right? If we were to propose this and let's say it does go into effect and we do start adding, especially on the altcoin side, what's going to happen if the 4-year cycle does actually repeat and after November we start tanking? Okay, Bitcoin drops very significantly, but these alts, bro, like 90-95%, what do you think is going to happen to public sentiment if that were to happen? Okay, it would be extremely in the negative. We're going to be hearing about that shit the next 3 years after that. Bitcoin, at least we do have an argument for being a more long-term proposition. Not necessarily the case with the others. Okay, it's just not a fan of this. To me, again, it should be Bitcoin only. That to me is the only one that does potentially, hopefully, have long-term value. It's not as centralized. There's not as much bullshit going on as with these others, namely XRP. That to me is one that's I get the integrations and such, but as far as being like a value holder, like a reserve asset, one that can potentially accrue over time, be a true inflation hedge, those are not it, right? So kind of a weird one. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully tomorrow, though, we will get more clarification, like as far as maybe weighting. Is this thing going to be like 90% Bitcoin and maybe a mix of 10% of the rest? That would be the hope, that it would be heavy, heavy, heavy on the Bitcoin. Pretty light just for maybe some exposure with the others, I guess. But again, it's just extremely weird to have these alts be here. And even just in reality, the concept in general, right? Having freaking taxpayers be our extra liquidity. Weird, right? It is crazy to think that we're here, though. Again, at the end of the day, though, this is a big move forward. This does give a lot of confidence. But just to me, in the long term, and especially buying now, it's one thing if this was proposed a few years ago, like when El Salvador got in, where they were just accruing through this bear market, then it makes sense because we've had all this run up of saying, like, see, it's a good idea, good idea. Initially, though, it was rough for them, right? That first year after, remember those protests, a lot of negativity towards it until the sentiment started turning around for a longer period of time to now the point where he is praised after that period of time. Buying in now, especially a lot of these alts, and especially with the negative sentiment that comes from it, specifically what's happening with Solana right now, right? Again, it's just more reasons for them to hate this narrative, to essentially put hate on crypto, right? So to me, the only one, it should definitely 100% be Bitcoin only. But to each their own. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys on board? Do you guys agree, disagree? Should it be others? Discuss that in the comments. Let's go down the list. So, of course, we did have a nice short-term pump with that news. Solana pumped, Cardano pumped, ETH didn't really do a whole lot. XRP pumped. I think the biggest winner was Cardano. They did have a pretty nice little pump, and they did tend to hold on better than some of the others, right? You can literally see that nice freaking God candle going from 65 cents to over $1 within essentially no time. And even right now, things are retracing. We're down to about 91 cents. Some of the others did go up as well, but retraced pretty damn quickly. Okay, so kind of rocky times, and it's hard to say what's going to happen here, right? Is it a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Right now, things aren't looking too great. The market is extremely, extremely tough right now. It's hard to say, right? I wouldn't be surprised with a big move in either direction, right? And in a way, hopefully there is good news coming from here, or at least good news that'll stick long term. I think what's going to almost guarantee a downtrend is if we don't get anything concrete. Like if they just make another announcement of the announcement, because again, this was announced. We did get more details here, but if we don't get anything concrete in this announcement, I wouldn't be surprised to see things kind of dump, right? Ideally, what I'm looking for in terms of like good sentiment is not just news on this front, but any other big announcements. To me, the one I think a lot of people have eyes on are potentially if there is a announcement regarding the potential for 0% taxes for crypto that is made in the US. It's kind of been on the rumor mill for a possibility. If we do get further evidence of this, more details of this, see what's going to be proposed, this could potentially be a catalyst. Okay, but if we don't get something kind of on big side, anything concrete, I wouldn't be surprised for things to kind of get worse here in the short term. Again, the overall narrative is just there's a lot of volatility, right? A lot of it's going to be the whole tariff situation, which is literally changing on the daily, every single day. All this up, down, extreme volatility. Realistically, what we're looking for, what I'm looking for, is just better deals, right? At this point, didn't DCA anything today, which so far we've been DCAing pretty much every damn day. Right now, I'm kind of waiting to see what happens tomorrow, right? Realistically, honestly, not expecting a huge announcement. Maybe we do, and that'll be the catalyst. I'll be happy if we don't get what we were looking for and we dump. In a sense, I'll also be happy because I will just be stacking, right? So I have specific coins, specific price points now that are ever changing that we're looking for, but realistically, expect volatility, right? If any of you guys are expecting to put longs in and going in, just don't be surprised to see the market move drastically in either direction, right? I think Where we go, I think the move will be pretty drastic. Like, I don't think it's just going to go sideways. I think if we don't get what kind of people are thinking we're going to get, oh, I'd expect a pretty hefty dump. If things are on the good front, maybe we do get the 0%, then maybe things will be better, right? But hopefully we do get some more clarification, especially as far as the weighting again, how we're going to do it, what's going to be the goal. Is it going to be just crypto that's already in possession by the US? For example, here, we already own over 200,000 BTC, which was seized. Are we just going to move that into the reserve? Because I'm assuming right now the big focus is on BTC because this is what gets highlighted the most. I'm sure we have a ton of other assets that are also seized, maybe a bunch of sold, maybe that'll get moved. Maybe there aren't necessarily purchases, maybe it's just converting this into the reserve. Who knows? We're going to find out hopefully more tomorrow, right? But again, if it's just a baseline announcement and oh, we're working on it, we're going to have more meetings, then expect the market to not react too well, right? So definitely a lot of movement on not only those alts that were announced, but even others just because of who's attending, right? Some of the others that have been moving. Chainlink most recently has been moving up quite a bit. Same thing with Ondo. But I mean, again, there's just been a lot of volatility, right? A lot of things going on. And again, another one, just any of the made in USA coins are also going to be just because, again, there's hope for potential news there. Because, again, if that one were to happen, to me, this would be one of the bigger deals, right? Just because it is going to affect a lot of projects. It's going to be a lot of interest, not only from us degens, but also people from TradFi. The fact that you're not going to have to pay that short term would be kind of a big deal if it happens, right? If we've heard different things already, there has been rumor mill regarding that it'll be anything over 12 months. So technically any like long-term holds, right? Not necessarily anything you were to buy now, but anything that you've been holding in excess of 12 months could be 0% tax. So we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to find details. We may not even get any news on that front. It may just be more specifics on this, but either way, definitely a big day. And overall, even though I'm not a fan of having altcoins in there, it's still a big deal. This is crazy to see that we are here. We are to this point. This is something that is being discussed by the president. Like it's crazy to even think of just where we are, right? But this is the reality. This is where we're at. This is what's going on. So we're here for it, right? So just expect a lot of volatility, guys. Let me know in the comments though, guys. What do you guys think? How are you playing this? Are you doing anything? Are you just hands off because you don't care for the volatility? Are you playing around with trading bots? I know a lot of people are doing extremely well with trading bots just because of that extreme volatility, which is only going to continue, right? Until we get resolutions to a lot of this stuff. Because again, like we've mentioned in these other videos, there's so much going on. The tariffs, the war, the whole thing with Ukraine and Russia, like trying to mediate those things, potential government shutdown, FOMC meeting, rumors of, rate reduction. Like, there's just so much volatility because there's so much uncertainty, right? Hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll get more clarity on things and maybe we can kind of sustain. But right now it feels like we're hanging on a thread and we can literally go either way, right? But let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I am out.